Today's half-ton trucks are being engineered into a corner. Manufacturers are stuffing small displacement, twin-turbo engines under the hood and calling it progress. But here's the truth. When you're pulling a loaded trailer up a mountain pass, that turbocharged four-cylinder is one bad day away from a catastrophic failure. The pickup truck as a serious work tool is disappearing, and most buyers don't realize it until it's too late. But not every engine followed that path. There's a very short list of engines that were built with a different philosophy. More iron, more displacement, less complexity. Mechanics call them the engines you can't kill. We call them the forever engines. And today we're building the definitive towing list around them. Before we get into the engines themselves, you need to understand why modern power plants are failing under load. The problem isn't horsepower. The problem is how that horsepower is made. Take a 3.5-liter engine producing 400 horsepower. To hit those numbers, it's running boost pressures that push cylinder temperatures into extreme territory. The moment you hook up a heavy trailer, the turbos spool hard, the intake charge heats up, and the engine management system starts dumping excess fuel just to keep the combustion temps from climbing too high. That fuel doesn't burn cleanly, it bakes into the oil. The oil degrades faster. The bearings run hotter. The ancillary components, sensors, plastic fittings, rubber seals, start breaking down under the hood temperatures that were never properly accounted for in the design phase. A large displacement engine sidesteps all of this. It doesn't need pressure to make power. It uses cubic inches. That's a fundamentally different kind of stress on the internals, and it's the kind engines survive. Number 1. The Ford 7.3L Godzilla V8. In 2020, Ford did something that surprised everyone. Instead of chasing efficiency numbers with another boosted motor, they went back to basics. The 7.3L Godzilla is a pushrod V8 with a cast iron block, no turbochargers, no variable displacement, and no overhead cam complexity. It is, by every modern standard, an old-school engine, and that's exactly the point. Ford didn't build this engine for pickup trucks first. They built it for shuttle fleets, box trucks, and vocational vehicles that rack up serious hours day after day. When they dropped it into the Super Duty, they were essentially putting a commercial-grade engine into a consumer truck. Under normal towing conditions, this engine isn't even working hard. Yes, fuel economy is not its strong suit. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. But run the numbers yourself. A couple extra fill-ups a month costs a fraction of what a catastrophic turbo failure or a cracked head costs out of warranty. The Godzilla is the engine you buy when you're thinking long-term. Number 2. The GM 6.0L Iron Block V8 L96. If your budget rules out a new Super Duty, the second spot on this list is the General Motors 6.0-liter V8, specifically the Iron Block L96 variants found in older GM trucks and work vehicles. This isn't the flashiest engine GM ever built, but it has one critical advantage that makes it worth hunting for. It predates active fuel management. AFM, GM Cylinder Deactivation System, has been destroying valve trains in modern GM trucks for years. Collapsed lifters, oiling issues, expensive repairs. The 6.0L Iron Block doesn't have any of that. It fires all 8 cylinders every single time you turn the key. No deactivation. No complexity. No hidden failure modes. Mechanics who work on these engines refer to them like old friends. The truck around the engine might have rust, worn-out door handles, and a cracked dashboard, but the 6.0 underneath it is still pulling weight without complaint at 250, 300, even 350,000 miles. When the body gives out, people pull the engine and drop it into something else. That tells you everything. Number 3. The Toyota 5.7 LV8 3UR FE. The third engine on this list has a story attached to it, and the story is what makes it legendary. In 2016, a man named Victor Shepard drove a 2007 Toyota Tundra to a dealership. The truck had over 1 million miles on it, with the original engine. When Toyota's engineers tore the motor down to inspect the internals, they found the cylinder bores and bearing clearances were still within factory tolerances. On a million-mile engine. That is not normal. That is not even close to normal. And it's something that simply cannot happen with a modern high-pressure turbocharged engine, because the internal stress those engines produce would have destroyed the rotating assembly long before the odometer hit six figures. Toyota built the 5.7 L3UR FE before the cost-cutting and the turbocharging era took over. If you can find a clean Tundra with this engine, specifically model years between 2018 and 2021, the last years it was offered, buy it without hesitation. You're getting one of the last engines Toyota built when durability still outranked efficiency in the design brief. Here's the part of the conversation most YouTube channels skip over. The engine is only half the equation. A bulletproof motor bolted to a fragile transmission is still a tow rig waiting to fail. Modern trucks are being shipped with 8, 9, and 10-speed automatic transmissions. The justification is fuel economy. More gears means the computer can drop engine RPM on the highway and squeeze out better mileage numbers for the EPA tests. Fine for commuting. A disaster for towing. Under a heavy load, a 10-speed transmission never fully commits. It hunts up and down through gear ratios, constantly calculating, constantly shifting. Every unnecessary shift generates heat. Heat degrades transmission fluid. Degraded fluid destroys clutch packs and solenoids. And unlike an engine, a transmission failure on a mountain grade with a loaded trailer behind you isn't just expensive, it's dangerous. The trucks on this list were paired with simpler, tougher gearboxes. The 7.3L Godzilla works with a heavy-duty 6-speed designed around torque capacity rather than gear count. The 5.7L Tundra runs a 6-speed known for being nearly indestructible under sustained load. And the 6.0L GM trucks paired with the Allison 1000, a transmission originally spec'd for garbage trucks and dump trucks, are in a class of their own. When you're grinding up a long incline with 10,000 pounds behind you, you want a transmission that locks into the right gear and stays there. The idea that a truck can get great fuel economy and tow serious weight is a marketing story, not an engineering reality. Physics doesn't negotiate. You either build an engine for efficiency or you build it for durability under load. Manufacturers chose efficiency because that's what sells trucks on a test drive. The engines on this list made the opposite choice. They're heavier, thirstier, and less impressive on paper. But they're the ones still running when everything else has been sent to the junkyard. By displacement. By iron. And stop letting the window sticker tell you what a real truck is.